Drive to Wellness podcast.
Hell yeah!
Welcome to the Drive to Wellness podcast.
Hell yeah!
So today's topic is going to be on education and how it has progressed to the 21st century. Mimi, you've been an educator for over 10 years. How do you see things going?
I've been educating, teaching for over 10 years. I own my schoolhouse, and so proud of our progress and development and supporting of 21st century learning, and that we won 2019 Best in Educational Services. My schoolhouse is a learning center for after-school tutorial. We service, and teach kids and educate them for private, public, or charter school. But we also have, which is our really true prize, is our home education program, where I direct the program into preparing students today and embracing technology. So when this pandemic hit us, our students were ready. I was certainly ready. I've always been a true advocate of being ahead versus behind, and that's something I want to talk about, is always being in a offensive position, so we're not waiting for something to happen that goes against our will and that we're not able to adapt to change. I have a bachelor's in business, but my master's in teaching, learning, technology. And I always believe in formal education. It's a very fancy, expensive piece of paper, that diploma, but unless you apply what you learn, it's just a very expensive piece of paper. But the teaching and learning with technology, I advocate on that. And our students were, within a few weeks, they were able to transition. Yes, we use Zoom, and we got things going. And the program is all about interaction, engaging. We don't want, to lose that importance of self-development emotionally, mentally, and physically with the students, even though we're doing it virtually. But it's something that we have to start facing reality here. It's, if this pandemic revealed anything, it is, it's a wake-up call that we need to start embracing those who don't, are not in favor of technology and teaching online or virtual or anything about, technology. It is what it is, and we need to help our students, our learners, become, leaders of tomorrow. And what is tomorrow? It is right here now. Technology is only going to advance from this point forward.
Absolutely. And I've seen you've always been ahead of the curve. I remember even before any of the pandemic hit or anything, you were teaching the kids how to type faster. You're giving them typing classes, computer classes, different software.
Yeah, we don't, and we don't take away things that are valuable, either. We incorporate technology into our curriculum, but we still keep fundamental skills that I believe that are critical, essential, such as cursive writing. And why is cursive writing important? I use it. Habits of successful people. Time is so valuable that I find anything that allows me to cut down time, and because there's the one thing we can never recuperate or get more of or buy more of is time. So even cursive, taking notes when you're going to go to college or even in a board meeting, whatever the case may be, cursive is going to cut that time. Every time you lift up your hand and doing manuscript, it's just it's a lot faster. So I teach kids how to be productive, efficient, and be effective.
So what do you think about the heated debate going on right now with parents and the government about reopening schools?
Oh, gosh. Geez, that's a really tough topic to talk about. It's very controversial. Well, I like to say this. As what we can all do as advocates, leaders, parents, educators is I would like to see us focusing on teaching our kids critical thinking skills. If we help our children to be learners, to have that foundation, to have an accurate mind, it will alleviate a lot of the problems in the future. Such as if you can't make right decisions if you don't have an accurate mind. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
In other words, we need to stop just getting our kids to learn one particular skill, like main idea and context clues. There is, if you think about the umbrella of all these skills and benchmarks, even Common Core, and Common Core is another controversial thing. And I support it because Common Core is basically setting the standards at holding people accountable to making sure that every child learns a certain skill or benchmark. Why not? Why hold our kids back? If I want my child to learn the same amount of quality education and skills and benchmarks like any other high performing state public school system education, right? I mean, we shouldn't be limiting ourselves to it. It's not lowering their standards. That's a myth. If you go back and if you go on the commoncore.org website, you can look and they actually break it down like myths and facts about the Common Core. It's not about lowering the standards. It's basically holding everyone up to a certain level of high standards of teaching their kids certain skills. That's another subject. But what I'm saying is I kind of came up with the system, which is called the Quick Notes method. It's really about developing critical thinking skills, stretching the mind of the students to evaluating analytical skills and to recreate based on Bloom's taxonomy, framework. And Bloom's taxonomy was created in 1956 by Benjamin Bloom. And he basically, there are 6 levels. If you can picture a triangle of thinking skills, the bottom 3, knowledge, comprehension, and application, are lower thinking skills. That means if a student can just pass a standardized test, which I actually will talk about standardized testing too, because I also too am in favor of standardized tests. I'll tell you why though, logically why. But we shouldn't just, if the student can apply it, that's good enough. No, we need to stretch the mind to get to the place of analyzing, evaluating, and creating, which is the top 3 levels of thinking skills, according to Bloom's taxonomy. And how do we do that? We got to find ways. If kids can actually analyze and evaluate and create, they can most likely make better decisions and score higher on their standardized tests.
So tell us about standardized testing then.
Okay, I am in favor of it just realistically. The reason why is this. You got 4 choices most of the time. Multiple choices are 4 choices. We only wish that life was just 4 choices, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but why is it that we're all reading the same question and how we interpret the question, that's how we answer it. But picture that in real life application. We're reading an article. Some people might think it's fact or fiction, and with this whole social media thing, it's so saturated, we don't even know what's, sometimes some people don't know what's real or what is false news. Again, this is so critical that we need to seriously develop some critical thinking skills, because an inaccurate interpretation will end up with an inaccurate outcome, and that's not the outcome. You can't base, you can't make decisions based on inaccurate information. But standardized testing, You're reading the same question. Why is that some people get it wrong? Again, because we're not developing the analytical, being able to observe, being able to analyze, evaluate, create, investigate, and then look at all angles of a topic, whether it is in favor of or opposition. So you kind of have to, you create the pros and cons chart.
Yeah.
And then you kind of, based on exhausting all the information, you come to a conclusion. But you won't, unless education, certainly formal education, like going to college, even better, getting your master's degree, helps you develop the skill. Critical thinking is a skill. It's not something that you just, you're just born. I don't just teach. My students over at my school is not just learning context clues, main ideas, and benchmarks. I'm teaching them how to think, how to come out analyzing, drawing their conclusion, are even online. We want to engage and interact. I want to hear what the students have to say. I'm constantly wanting to hear about feedback. What do they think? What works for them? And create.
Absolutely. What do you have? What tips do you have to offer parents that want to help their kids develop their critical thinking skills?
Just whatever, in any situation, when you take your kid to a grocery store and they said, I want this cereal box. I mean, just the cereal aisle alone, it's overwhelming. We're not talking about 4 multiple choices here, right? We're talking about among how many cereal boxes?
I don't even know.
Exactly. When you take your child somewhere and they say, I want this, I want that, you know what? Let's explore it. Why do you want it? Listen to them. What's so good about it? And then start teaching them about why what is practical, what is effective, what is better, or what is a better choice. That's something that they need to know. And then hopefully educators will actually pick up on this and start teaching kids. The thing about it is when you're reading the questions on a test, you need to analyze the key words. That's filtering out all the noise, all the common words, all right? And that goes for life too. You got to be able to filter out the common noise and just pick out the important keywords that you need to know in order for you to make the best decision. And then when you're looking at your choices, you should be able to recognize what will not work, why it is not the right decision. Not just, a lot of times kids will pick out, this one sounds about right. Maybe I saw it in the passage somewhere, but they're not even looking at why A or B or C or D is wrong. Process of elimination, and that's what the Quick Notes method is about, as you know. So let me tell you, I definitely recommend parents, we have to be on the same page about helping our kids and preparing them to the 21st century. But we also need to teach about this and apply it in our life too. And that's what I do for me. Always try to be in an offensive position versus being in a defense position. That means constantly learning, reading, developing new skills, being open-minded to ideas. You don't have to embrace them all, but you got to be open-minded to them. And, do your research. Now, again, research is something that not everybody has the same outcome, because depending on your cognitive ability to process accurate information or even eliminate inaccurate information, the result. Remember, your outcome, your life is going to be based right now. Forget about what's tomorrow. We can only live in the present, correct?
Absolutely.
So your life right now is based on your past decisions, your past beliefs, and your past actions. And if you are not happy or fulfilled where you are right now, there's something within those things, or all of them, need to change. And how do we know? It goes back to critical thinking skills, accurate thinking. And we need to advocate and teach our children and our learners to do that, and to embrace technology in the 21st century.
I couldn't agree with you more. With that being said, thank you very much, Mimi, for joining us and giving us that great explanation and advice. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, comment down below what topics you would like for us to speak about in the future. Turn on your notifications and have a great day, everybody.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.